Welcome to video 5 of this epic. It's become an epic of teaching you how to, and teaching me how to write like a snooker or billiards or pool program in JavaScript using the P5 library. Um, uh, right, sorry, I just got distracted by these little fellows. Okay, so we've got solid sides, solid balls obviously, and we want to add pockets. We want to add, oh, that's my YouTube previous video, we want to add these guys, so we need to write another object. And basically what we want to happen is when a ball collides with the pocket, oh, then it does just that. I don't know how that happened. This is just a paint program. It shouldn't have been able to disappear down the hole. That was magic. It's on video. Wow, that's amazing. Anyway, so we want to make that happen in our code. So we need a new object. Oh, by the way, there is still a persisting bug. When two of our snooker balls are instantiated on top of one another, then they kind of float around on with one another and they mess up the collision detection. So we want to make sure when we create new balls that we do one at a time maybe, and they're in different parts of the on the snooker table, or we say create a triangle of them or a grid or something like that and then let them go. Or in our collision detection, in this little function that worked perfectly and I completely accidentally stumbled on the right answer of how to do it. So if two balls hit each other, you swap their velocities. We could say if they're kind of overlapping, then you could do something clever with their vectors. You could just say make sure they're kind of push them away from one another. And I haven't really thought about that, so I won't try and work it out on camera. So let's do what we were talking about. Let's make a new object. So what do we want to inherit? We want to inherit a size of it. It's going to be very similar to a ball actually. And we do want check collision. We don't want to swap the velocity. So we want to, and we don't want any velocity. So actually we're going to extend from edge. We're going to inherit edge. So we're going to say class pocket extends edge, and then we need our constructor. So what are we going to take in? We're going to take in an x, a y, and we kind of want them at a fixed radius. So we don't need to pass in another, I think. This is kind of like polymorphism. Polymorphism is when you have a different number of parameters for the same constructor or same function and it still works. There we go. I'm not sure if, don't quote me on that. Okay. Constructor. So we want to call the parent constructor or the superior constructor. So super, that's the key word, and then you pass in what you need to pass in. We need to pass in the x and the y here. So super, will that go into ball? No, it won't. It won't call the constructor of the ball because our pocket has nothing to do with ball. They simply have the same parent, but one of these doesn't extend from the other. So ball doesn't interest us, has nothing to do with our new pocket class. Okay, so we've just called this function. So it will have an x and a y, but it will have two null values for width and hid. So we just want to add in our own constructor this width equals, and we're going to have a set amount. How big were these guys? How big were our snooker balls? I think they were 20. Where is that? Oh, I'm creating in the main function. Yeah, 32. That's the edge. Sorry, 32. That's the diameter. So I think. So they 16. Is that right? I'm getting very mixed up. So when we create a ball, let's just have a look. We put in the diameter, although I've just called it that. Is that in fact what it is? This dia equals diameter, this radius equals that. Okay, it looks like I've been consistent. So this width equals, the diameter equals 32, we'll say. So you've kind of, by default, whenever you correct, I can close these guys down. Whenever we create a pocket, it will, by default, have a width of 32. And we'll treat that as a radius. Okay. We need a render function. We want to be able to see these pockets. I'm going to copy the ball objects render method. So this will replace its parent method. It will replace the edge render. So fill wants to be as black as midnight. Stroke, it doesn't really need a stroke. That's the line width. Will be consistent though. And we'll keep one. In fact, shall we? No, we'll comment them out for now. And if there are any problems with collision and things, if it doesn't quite look right, it might be because the lines kind of fatten up its apparent size and things like this. So it's position, this dia, so this width. It hasn't got a dia. I'm not being so redundant this time around. Okay. So we can have pockets now, but they don't really do anything. They need their crucial function, which is going to be similar. It is going to be similar to check collision in ball. So that's the end of the render function, taking up quite a lot of room. Right. So how am I doing for time? 7 minutes to go. Right. Halfway through and I've done nothing yet. Check collision, we'll call it. Or could I call it check hit? No, it's kind of check. What do you call it? Check sink. When you kind of like sink a snooker ball, I think you call it sink. So check sink, and it's going to have passed in a snooker ball. That makes sense. Let the distance between the snooker ball's position and its own position equal dist, and then we derive again the magnitude, and we compare that magnitude to the radius of the ball plus the radius of this pocket. Now, instead of swapping the velocities, we can't do that because a pocket has no velocity attribute. We simply want to splice the ball from its array. So we can't do that in here. The array is kind of scoped outside of our class, so we just want to return true, because there is a collision here, so we're going to return true, else return false. Okay, so check sync, we want to check that probably in our for loop within the draw loop. So we first check, let's first check. We're going to have to cycle through all of the pockets, which we haven't made yet. Let's make our pocket. Well, can I do it down here? So I'm going to write the collision detection and then instantiate the objects. I haven't instantiated any pockets. We've got to kind of place them around. That's going to be a nightmare for you and me. So we'll say let, I think I can let I here. So I'm not nesting in anything. Oh, I am nesting. Let's let J. I've done J. Let K equal 0. While K, so these are for pockets. While K is less than pocket's length, and then K plus plus. So, and then I'm just calling that check function. I'm going to say if pockets k, that's the correct index, check sync is true, then we want to splice the current ball that we're checking. Oh, we've got to pass in that ball, of course. Balls, and that's cycling around using the I index. Okay, so if we've sunk, then balls I splice. So splice is a keyword you use to remove an object. And what do we want to remove? We want to remove, and I think you pass in the index and how many from that index. We just want to remove one object from the array at that position I. Now, there's going to be a problem because we're iterating through an array. We've just removed one, so now I references what it shouldn't reference anymore. We've changed the nature of the length of the array while we're iterating through. Removing objects and adding them is dangerous when you're iterating through. So the best way to do this, as far as I can see, is to iterate through backwards. Then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what we do to the array, because we've taken something off and then we're only checking the stuff at the beginning of the array. When you put something on or change the length, it's only affecting you if you're chasing that length. Okay, so let I equal the, so we're going to start at the end of the array, which is the length minus 1, because you begin arrays at 0. So the length is the number of objects you've got. That doesn't tell you the index of the last object. It's got to be the length minus 1 to counteract for the fact that you started at 0. I've already said that. Only 2 minutes. Oh no, I don't think I'm going to get this done in time. So while I is greater than or equal to 0, that's the first object, the first ball in our array, and then we're going to decrement instead of incrementing through the array. Okay, that should work now. So we can sync our balls as many times as we like, and we're removing balls from the array. And now we need to create an array of pockets. And now we want to create 4 of them. So let's copy our ball instantiator. Let I equal, let's just say 4 pockets. And we're going to say pockets push a new, remember the new keyword to go and create an object, a new pocket. It's always exciting when I'm making a new object. Right, and we just pass in its x and its y. Okay, so in fact, let's just put 0, 0, because we just want to create them, and then now after that we should have a function for like set up the balls, set up the edges, set up the pockets. We're not going to. We're going to now refer to each pocket on its own and kind of like hard code in where it should be. So pockets position equals, can I do that as a vector together, or do I have to refer to each component? So x equals is kind of the top edge. So what am I looking at? I'm looking at this position here. So it's the top edge minus kind of its length, almost minus the whole length. So minus, say, 80% of it. Oh, but its center, look, is half of its height. It's position y plus half its height. That kind of makes sense. Where am I? Where's brackets? There we go. So position x equals the top edge. This is a more difficult number. position x minus the top edge width times, I said about 80%. Let's try that. And then we want the y position to equal the top edges y plus going down its half of its height. So times 0.5 is half the height. Let's just see. Let's just test that. So we should have at least one pocket approximately where it should be, and loads of other pockets up here. Right, what haven't we called? Fortunately, there were no bugs, so nothing too terrible, but we haven't rendered our pockets. So we could render that here because we're cycling through the pockets. So we should always... Oh, that's going to... I don't know if this is bad for efficiency. I don't know. So we're going to say pockets k render. There we go. If they've instantiated OK, we should be able to see them. Okay, that's pretty good. They're all at 0, 0 though. What's pretty bad is our pocket 0 isn't where it should be. No idea where it is. So that's pretty good. At least they are on the screen and they weren't eating up balls randomly. Right, I think that's my time up. That is my time up. So let's spend a little longer just getting this right. Top edge, right. I am referring it to in the correct way. Pockets, create a pocket a 0, 0. Okay, that's working. And then I want to change the position of pocket 0. So pocket 0 position x equals the top edge's position x minus its width times 0.8. Half of its width. So let's put that there. Half of its width. And again, I want half of its height. No, I don't. Oh, that'll do. So I need maybe 90%, 95% of the way. Let's see. And also, we have put in the collision detection, or the sink detection. So it should be able to eat a ball if it touches. I have to play an annoying waiting game, see if it happens. Oh, that one might have gone straight in. What about you? Okay, we could just increase the size of our pockets. Right, let's put the other ones in correct positions. And that'd be very exciting for our first ball to kind of get sunk. So this is going to be the top right. So it's going to be the x position plus y is going to be exactly the same. Next one's going to be different now. Oh, so x. No, it isn't. It's just going to be. Don't panic. It's just going to be down the bottom. It's going to be position y. Oh, I could just say the bottom edge. I didn't realise. Bottom edge, bottom edge. And then I can almost copy the other one. I'm not thinking straight here. Let's just copy this one. And I know I just want to swap the x position. That should do it. So that's all 4 of them changed. I'll leave them as they are. But I want to make more balls. I'm going to have twice as many. But I'm going to make them smaller. 16, that should look lovely. Okay. So we should have our pockets in the correct positions. Loads of balls everywhere. Yeah, which is kind of the size. And they're all hitting each other in really nice ways. Also, by decreasing their size... Oh, he was almost on there. Oh, No, I haven't got my balls in the correct place. My snooker balls in the correct place. So I can't really see if they're being swallowed up. Collision detection is working really nicely though, between the balls. Is he being eaten up? Let's just increase the size of these guys. That's the pockets I'm talking about. So I've said their width is, or radius, no, that's diameter, isn't it? Is it diameter? Yeah, ellipse assumes that's a diameter. So 32 is pretty big anyway. 64. And I thought I took away their stroke color. So if you don't determine their stroke color, it will use the last thing you drew. It will use that stroke color. So we just want to say no stroke, which means it will just draw its area, its fill area, with no line around it. So they're huge now. That's okay. So there was a bit of overlapping there. That really should have sunk, I'm sure. Like this guy's going right for it. It's not coming back out. So there is something wrong with my collision detection. And the two bottom pockets aren't appearing where they should. So let's just get those appearing where they should, and I'll try a little while, maybe maximum 5 minutes, to get the sync bug sorted out, and then we're in good shape. Then we just need for the final video to get some interaction with the mouse. Right. Pockets 0 and 1 were fine. 2. So it's top edge. No, it should be... Oh, look, I swapped one bottom edge, but I didn't swap this part. Okay, that's quite a nice bug. That's easy enough to sort out. I don't think there's anything else wrong with it. That might have been sometimes one bug is involved in another. If there's a serious problem, then it prevents other things, other functions functioning in the correct way. So before I mess around with anything else, oh look, they're positioned badly now. Oh yeah, because their Y wants to be a bit different. I just want to see. No, collision detection is not working for the pockets. That's disappointing. So the other thing we've just got to change is the Y's want to be minus there, minus there. That's right. Okay, so now they're positioned correctly. I thought my finger got excited. I thought I had the answer. So check collision. We want to check sync. So we're accepting a ball in there, and we say the distance is the ball's position, this position, that position, sorry, minus that position. That distance, sorry, this variable dist is the magnitude, so that's the distance between them. And we're saying, the sync, the pocket does not have a radius. It only has a width. That's the ball, this width. And that wants to be divided by 2 because it's a diameter. We have to convert it to a radius. Is that correct? Yeah, it's only got a width. So let's now, I think that's it. That seemed like the bug. Yes. We've got ball syncing, but now that crashed the program. So it looks like when we're splicing it from the array, we're still causing a problem. I thought that was fine. Oh! Now we've got other, let me show you what's going wrong here. We've got, in our draw loop, we might remove this ball here, and then we're still trying to refer to that ball later on. So we have to do the pocket thing after everything else. Okay, no balls are being removed. So we can't render the ball, we can't move the ball if it doesn't exist. So right at the end of the loop, we have to do it. Okay. That really should be the last bug. Okay, here we go. Oh, God. I really shouldn't have said that. That really jinxed it. Let's just see where that bug is happening. It's got to be in the loop somewhere. Splice is not a function of that ball, 81. Oh, yes. So, this wasn't maybe causing the problem. The positioning of this. We can just say... So, anyway, sorry. I was trying to refer to an individual instantiated ball and splicing it. That doesn't make sense. Splice is a function of the array, the whole array, just as length is a function of the whole, or the variable of the whole array. So that should now work. Stop saying, don't say this. It just tempts the demons. Right. Okay, now no balls are going anywhere near the holes, pockets. One sunk in there. He's sinking away. He's sinking away. Yes. Now this is kind of working. There's kind of some kind of like physics probability thing going on here. If you know, is there like a mathematical proof that they should all disappear because their vectors never change? Right. So I was wondering if we're down to one ball, will there be a bug? And the answer is yes. Right. Position of undefined 1, 2, 2 of object. No. I thought I knew what that was. 1, 2, 2. Position is undefined. So we're trying to render it when it no longer exists. 1, 2, 2. So this ball's position no longer exists when we're checking sync. Sorry about the silence and the pause. Let's have a look. K, yep, K's fine. So if pockets check sync ball I, so at that point, oh, so during this loop, we've kind of got to break then. We've got to break somewhere. I'm not sure where it's going to happen because somehow we're getting to here when there aren't any balls left. So let's say this has removed the last ball. And now length, well, more greater than 0. So we do need to check 0 as well. But let's just say we've removed 0. And now it still thinks. And we go around again. I might hit 0, but there isn't a ball. It wouldn't be able to get all the way down here though. That's a difficult one. Okay. I'm not sure what the answer is, but if I keep thinking this video is going to go on for a lot longer. So we'll stop there. We've got the pockets almost working. So off camera, what I'll do is sort this bug out, and maybe I'll even prepare to get the mouth detection working and just show you how to do it rather than work out on screen like I've been doing up to this point. Okay, well that's kind of fun to work on the fly. Right, thank you very much. See you for the last video, hopefully the last video.